upcoming comedian. You may have seen him on the Dore Show or the Grayzone. Put your hands together for Max Blumenthal.
Thank you all for showing up at this anonymous suburban office park. I had to drive like 2 hours to get here. I'm like, oh, it's a local show. It's my third show since last night. I'm still nervous, so Jimmy was good enough to give me some lines of ivermectin backstage. It really helped take the edge off. I also was lucky to get a practice set in at the United Nations Security Council. It's a tough crowd. Only the one Russian guy there seemed to like what I was saying. I looked across at the British delegation. There was nobody there. It was just like a pair of rotten teeth being animated by the Americans. You can't have your pudding if you don't support the Ukraine! It's fucking weird. Weird scene. I feel much more comfortable with you all. I've gotten to know a lot of you before the shows. We talked, and many people, this is the question I keep getting, is why am I doing this? Why am I doing comedy? And the answer is pretty obvious. I'm a journalist and my profession is a fucking joke. The media, the worst people, the biggest sycophants, the biggest stenographers for power in the war state, all in one place, all attracted to one profession with no actual talent or skills. It's the Beltway media. And I come from the progressive online media. I was there at the dawn of progressive online media, like Salon.com, Alternet, remember Air America? And so I've seen the decline over the last 20 years, the deep decline of progressive media. I actually knew Rachel Maddow. I would go on her show. I knew Rachel Maddow before she was a warmongering, neoconservative, anti-Russian conspiratorial psychopath. I was at The Nation, so I knew Chris Hayes before he was Rachel Maddow. And I would have liked to have known AOC when she was just an ambitious, smart, young girl from White Plains named Sandy, before she transitioned to Latinx. She's so angry now, and there's a discarded box of Franzia behind her. She's screaming it into Instagram, you fascists! I don't really have a punchline there. I just, wanted to say that. I wanted to know her just like I knew Chris Hayes before he was an anti-Russian male lesbian. The culture wars are destroying us by design. We need to be fighting a class war, but they're deploying these culture wars to keep us divided against each other, against left and right, against black and white, so we don't unite against the oligarchy that has all the control and all the voice in our society. And what Jimmy Dore is doing is bringing people together, and I want to continue to unite. I think we can unite on common shared goals like the urgent need to immediately invade Canada. Yeah. Get a JSOC Special Forces snatch and grab team together and take Justin Trudeau out of his fucking Klaus Schwab spider hole in Davos, drag him to Washington in chains and put him on trial. I don't know what crime he committed. He's just a fucking bitch. That's why we need to do it. And it would be very easy to convict him in front of a DC jury. We'll just put up pictures of him in blackface. My little brother, when he was 4, he found a can of black paint, and him and his friend painted themselves black. And my mother immediately hosed them off like for hours and hid them in the basement from society. Justin Trudeau is the son of a prime minister. He was a grown-ass man, and he went out in blackface not once but 4 times. That is a fucking war crime. And so we need to put Trudeau on trial. I, want to get past the abortion thing too. All we hear about is abortion now. It's like the only issue. MSNBC is like the abortion network. They're so into it. The Republicans are all about it. I believe that abortion is healthcare. And it's actually one of the only free forms of healthcare we can get in this society. So the next time I go to the doctor, I'm going to tell him that tumor that I got is a late-stage fetus. And be like, so do I owe you anything? No, the tumor's out of the dumpster out back. You're free to go. I actually feel so like I'm missing something. I feel so strange. So we have to get past the culture wars. I wrote some jokes down on the way here, so forgive me, I'm an amateur. We got to get past the culture wars. We have to get past the psyopathy. We are living in a psyopathy, not just an oligarchy, but these psyops are deployed to divide us. Bill Casey, former CIA director under Ronald Reagan in 1983, said that we will know our information operation succeeded when what most Americans believe is a lie. And that's where we are right now. And you can go from Iraq, WMDs, Saddam and Al-Qaeda, Russiagate, the Syrian chemical attacks, and then the COVID event was the big one, because that's when all of the left-wing critics, the most trenchant critics of our system, turned into hyper-obedient authoritarian enforcers of the biomedical security state and big pharma. I lost so many friends over that shit. I lost so many friends. And it was my socialist friends were so into the vax. They all wanted to take like the Chinese vax. They thought it was like injecting socialism into their veins. One of them took the Chinese Sinovac so many times they started transmitting 5G signals from Huawei. It was crazy. Then we got Noam Chomsky. All of us have learned from Noam Chomsky. We have all benefited from his wisdom. And he helped reduce my liberal normie tendencies when I was younger by 23.4%. But then when the COVID event happened, he called for putting the unvaccinated in camps. Put das Untervaccinated in Pfizergrad. Pfizerwald. Send them on the trains. An anarcho-syndicalist critic of the system was calling for putting people in camps because they did not obey. It's fucking crazy. But I get it, in a way. I get it, because you're incredibly old. You look like the wizard on the bridge, who we have to get across the bridge, we have to answer your 3 riddles. You're so old that you saw the Fiddler on the Roof live on the roof. Like when the Fiddler was literally on the roof in the shtetl. So I get it. But you don't have to be so afraid of COVID that you hide out from it on Jeffrey Epstein's island. The news of Noam Chomsky getting involved financially with Jeffrey Epstein gives new meaning to the manufacturing of consent, doesn't it? I mean, this is wild. Jeffrey Epstein got everybody in his black book. He got Noam Chomsky of all people. I didn't expect that to turn up. I expected like Harvey Weinstein or something, but Noam Chomsky. Who's going to turn up next in the black book? Greta Thunberg? Are there's like Malala going to ride on the Lolita Express? All I'm saying is release the black book. Release the black book. This is the second night I'm here. So last night was one of the first nights I've actually been to a nightclub in years because I'm a dad. I have a 2-year-old with the wonderful and intelligent Anya Parampil. Having a 2-year-old is insane. Like, you have to give them exactly what they want in that exact, you know what I'm talking about, in that exact moment where they will rampage and terrorize everyone around you, and you have to be completely vigilant or they will go and create havoc, drown themselves, who knows what they're gonna do. It's kind of like being a US president and dealing with Vladimir Zelensky. Do you think I was gonna tell dad jokes all night or something? Fuck that. I don't have anything against like Ukrainians, and they all have different opinions, but I'm kind of like, it's kind of crazy. Like over the past year, I have given more money to buy Maseratis for sweaty guys in tracksuits in Kyiv than I spent on my own kid because I'm a US taxpayer. This shit is getting kind of out of control. And Zelensky, I mean, yeah, not one more cent for this insane proxy war. And Zelensky, he shows up at NATO looking like a kid dressed up as G.I. Joe for Halloween. And he's like, I need the HIMARS, I need the javelins, give me the cluster munitions. He's walking around like snorting, acting like a pimp. Bitch better have my money, bitch better have my cluster bombs. He's snorting all the time. I'm like, so that's why we have an Adderall shortage. It all went to Ukraine in the aid. Hunter Biden's like, Dad, what the fuck, man? You gave my stash to that fucking Ukrainian elf. How could you? I actually grew up in D.C. during the crack epidemic. And as I watched Zelensky, I mean, getting more and more desperate, he started to remind me of the pipeheads that used to follow me home from school. He's like, it's never good enough for him. He's like, the cluster bombs, Biden. They're not hitting like they used to. I need the big one, Biden. I need the nuclear weapon. I need the nuclear. I'll suck your dick, Biden. Biden's there. He's like, got hairy legs. Hair standing up on my legs. Turn on the radio. I don't know about that, Vladimir, but if you let me sniff your wife's hair, we might have a deal. So where are we at? Oh, we're fighting for democracy. Forgot that. This is for democracy, and that's why Vladimir Zelensky just canceled the 2024 elections in Ukraine on the basis of a martial law. And what I think really happened was that a Biden official, like Tony Blinken or something, came to Vladimir Zelensky and said, we can't find another Jewish guy to cover up for all this Nazi shit. We're just gonna have to get like a Nazi guy in there. So you have to stay in there for as long as possible. Zelensky's Jewish. And Zelensky was like, okay, just gonna keep it going. But the Nazi stuff in Ukraine is getting harder and harder to cover up. And normally I read off my phone, but I'm recording right now on video from my phone. But I read a tweet from April 2023 this year from Reuters, the largest news organization in the world, and it's about the Storm Brigade training outside Kharkiv, Ukraine, and they interview a soldier whose code name is Adolf, and they just put it there in the tweet, code name Adolf. Where could he have possibly gotten this code name from, Adolf? Was it from the radical black social theorist and Jacobin contributor Adolf Reed? What could have inspired him? Was it the late Memphis-based rapper Young Dolph? I mean, there's nobody named Adolf in America. You're not allowed to name your kid Adolf. If you name your kid Adolf here, Child Protective Services will be at your door by Tuesday. If you codename yourself Adolf in Ukraine, we will send you Javelin missiles, F-16s, and tanks. That's the rules. So we're giving billions and billions of dollars to a hyper-militarized Nazi state controlled by a Jewish guy. It's terrible what's happened to Israel. No, I was talking about Ukraine. No, I'm Jewish, by the way. I identify as Jewish. My pronouns are self-hate. So I can do that. Back to Ukraine, I mean, and in closing, I know you said the time is up. If you could restore the original 15 minutes, that would be great. We are walking on a knife's edge. We are sleepwalking into nuclear annihilation. Victoria Nuland could just queef and nuclear war would break out. And these neocon hardliners that are controlling us, they don't want peace. Look at what Annalena Baerbock, the foreign minister of Germany from the Green Party, she enjoys the environment and bombing it. Look at what she said at the Munich Security Council earlier this year. She said, we will not negotiate with Vladimir Putin unless he pivots 360 degrees from where he currently is. Putin was like, pivoting. pivoting. Oh shit, we're still at war. Say hello to my little friend. The real neocon hardliners want him to pivot 720 degrees from where he currently is. But we're not going to have peace when Henry Kissinger's 100th birthday is celebrated in the middle of Manhattan by the Secretary of State, CIA director. All of these celebrities are coming out to celebrate this blood-drenched war criminal, and I missed it. No one told me about that. It was a huge missed opportunity. Not for me as a journalist, but for Osama bin Laden. No, I'm not actually advocating terror, but as long as it is out there, I mean, we might as well at least be more efficacious. And a little known fact, I mean, bin Laden was actually at Henry Kissinger's 65th birthday when he was a CIA asset. So, you all ready for Jimmy Dore? Yeah. Ready for Jimmy